Don't act surprised later, my mother whispered to my father, glancing toward me as the registrar arranged the documents. Right after the signing, we're all moving into her apartment. While she's distracted here, I've already moved most of our things in. I stood a few feet away, bouquet trembling slightly in my hands, my face calm. But inside, something cold unfurled. They thought I hadn't heard. They thought I was still the quiet, obedient daughter who tolerated everything. Hi everyone, my name is Clara Reeves. I'm 25, and today was supposed to be my wedding day, a new chapter. Instead, it became the day I saw my family's true faces. The hall was filled with friends, coworkers, and distant relatives. Everyone believed my family adored me, the perfect picture of support. None of them knew that they'd been draining my savings for years, hiding behind guilt and family duty. I'd bought that apartment after working 3 jobs and saving for half a decade. It was supposed to be my safe space, the only thing that was truly mine. And now they wanted to take it like everything else. The registrar's voice broke through my thoughts. Do you, Clara Reeves, consent to this union? I glanced at my family, at my mother's smug smile, my father's expectant nod, my brother's arrogant smirk, all waiting to celebrate what they thought was another victory over me. I smiled.
Calm, composed.
Yes, I said, my voice steady. But not to the man you think. The room fell silent, and that's when the laughter began. Every head in the room turned toward me. Even the registrar froze mid-pen stroke. My mother blinked, her confident expression faltering. What do you mean, not to the man we think? She demanded, voice cracking just enough to betray her panic. I let the silence stretch for a moment, savoring the confusion that had replaced their arrogance. Then I spoke evenly. I mean, I'm not marrying Daniel Carter, the man you picked because his father owns half of your company. I'm marrying someone else. Someone who doesn't want my apartment, my savings, or my silence. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Daniel's face turned crimson. This isn't funny, Clara, he hissed. It isn't a joke, I said calmly. The man I chose is the one who actually stood by me when I was being used. You remember Michael, don't you? The lawyer who handled Grandpa's estate. Michael stepped forward from the second row, tall and composed, holding a different set of documents. Good morning, everyone, he said with a polite smile. Just to clarify, these are the legal papers for our union, filed last week. Clara wanted today to serve as both a farewell and a fresh start. My mother's face drained of color. You can't do this. We made plans. I tilted my head. Exactly. You made plans about my money, my apartment, my future. I simply made my own. Murmurs turned into laughter from the guests, not cruel, but approving. My father muttered something about embarrassment and appearances, but for the first time in years, I didn't care. Because this time, I wasn't the one being humiliated. My mother's lipstick-smudged smile twisted into fury. You've lost your mind, Clara. That apartment was for all of us. You promised we'd live there as a family. I turned to her slowly.
No, Mom.
I promised I'd help until you got back on your feet. But you never wanted stability, just control. Michael placed a thin leather folder on the registrar's table. These, he said evenly, are notarized transfer papers, legally securing Clara's apartment, bank account, and business shares under her sole ownership. Effective today. My father lunged forward. You can't. Those funds are family assets. Michael didn't even blink. Mr. Reeves, the accounts were opened in Clara's name with her independent income. You've been accessing them using a power of attorney she revoked 3 weeks ago. The room fell deathly silent. My brother scoffed. You're bluffing. I turned to him, my voice razor-sharp but calm. Check your account balance, Aaron. He frowned, pulling out his phone. Seconds later, his expression collapsed. The joint card, it's frozen. Yes, I replied. Consider it part of the new budget plan. Whispers spread through the guests. My aunt leaned toward another relative. She finally stood up to them. I overheard. For once, I didn't shrink from the attention. I looked straight at my mother. You've spent years reminding me that family means sacrifice. I just never realized the sacrifice was supposed to be only mine. The registrar, clearly unsure if this was still a wedding, cleared his throat. So, do we proceed? I smiled faintly. Oh yes, I said, signing the new papers with deliberate grace. Today's the day I marry my freedom. The applause was quiet at first, then thundered. The ceremony ended in chaos. My mother stormed out first, muttering something about public humiliation. My father followed, face red, whispering threats about family reputation. And my brother? He lingered just long enough to sneer, "You'll regret this, Clara." But I didn't. The moment I stepped outside the registry office, a rush of cold air hit my face, clean, freeing, and real. Michael took my hand gently. "You handled that better than I expected," he said with a small smile. "I've had years of practice," I replied. "They trained me well, in silence, endurance, and pretending everything was fine." We walked to the parking lot where my family's car used to be parked. It was gone. Typical. They'd left me stranded before. Only this time, I wasn't stranded. I had a plan. Michael opened the passenger door of his car and handed me an envelope. "These are the documents for the trust your grandfather created, the one your parents never told you about. You're the sole beneficiary now." I blinked. "Wait, what?" He nodded. "Your grandfather wanted to make sure the money went to the one person who earned it. He suspected what your family was doing, so he came to me before he passed." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. All those years of being called ungrateful, selfish, unworthy, and now, proof that I wasn't wrong. Michael smiled softly. "He saw your strength, Clara. He just needed you to see it too." I looked out the window at the registry office fading behind us, a building that had once symbolized duty and family. Now, it marked the exact spot where I stopped belonging to them. 3 days later, they showed up at my apartment. Uninvited, of course. My mother stood at the door in pearls and fury, my father beside her pretending to stay calm, and my brother scrolling his phone like he owned the place. "Clara, open up," my mother barked, pounding on the door. "We need to talk." I opened it just wide enough to lean against the frame. "I don't think we have anything left to discuss." My father exhaled sharply. "Don't be dramatic. We made some mistakes, but you're still part of this family. You'll let us stay until we sort things out." I smiled, the same calm, patient smile they used to mistake for weakness. "I think you're mistaken, Dad. You moved into my apartment, remember? While I was at the registry office." Their faces stiffened. I stepped aside and gestured toward the hallway, where 2 movers were already unloading boxes. "You see, I had the locks changed and everything they moved in. It's already packed for return delivery. You can pick it up from storage, once you cover the fees." My brother's mouth fell open. "You can't do this to your family." "Oh, but I can," I replied evenly. "Because family doesn't drain your accounts, steal your home, and call it love." My mother tried one last time. "We're your parents." I met her gaze coldly. "Then you should have acted like it when I needed parents, not tenants." The door clicked shut behind them, their stunned silence echoing down the hallway. Inside, for the first time, the apartment felt truly mine. Quiet. Safe. Freedom had a sound after all. It was peace. A week passed before I heard from them again. This time, it wasn't shouting at my door, it was silence. The kind that comes when people realize the game is finally over. Then, one morning a letter arrived. It wasn't handwritten, it was an official document. My father's company, the one my grandfather built, had filed for restructuring. And there, in the fine print, was my name. Majority shareholder, Clara Reeves. I froze. I called Michael. "This can't be right." He chuckled softly. "It's completely right. Your grandfather left controlling shares in your name years ago. Your parents have been using them illegally. Now that you've signed your independence legally, everything reverts to you." My hand trembled as I flipped through the pages. All these years, they were never in control. Michael's voice softened. "Your grandfather wanted to make sure that when the truth came out, you have the power to choose what happens next." That night, I drove to the old family house. The lights were dim. My father opened the door looking older, smaller, defeated. "Clara," he said quietly, "please don't take everything. We'll lose everything. I looked around the once grand living room filled with things they'd bought with guilt and manipulation. I'm not taking everything, I said. Just what was already mine. My mother's voice trembled. What are you going to do? I smiled faintly. Something you should have done a long time ago. Rebuild the Reeves name with honesty. And for the first time, they didn't have a single word to say. By the end of the month, I was seated at the head of the boardroom table my father once ruled. The same leather chair, the same panoramic city view. Only this time, every pair of eyes in that room waited for my approval. Ms. Reeves, one of the executives said, "We've reviewed your restructuring proposal. It's bold but effective." I nodded, my tone calm but firm. It's not bold. It's overdue. This company's been run by appearances, not integrity. That ends today. The meeting continued for 2 hours, and when it ended, every decision had my signature on it. When I stepped out into the corridor, Michael was waiting, a quiet pride in his eyes. "You did it," he said softly. "No," I replied, adjusting my blazer. I just stopped pretending I couldn't. Later that evening, I hosted a small charity dinner. Not for investors, not for show, but for the hospital that had treated my grandfather in his final days. Halfway through the evening, I felt a familiar presence. My parents stood at the entrance, hesitant, unsure if they were welcome. I walked over. "You came," I said simply. My mother's voice trembled. "We wanted to see what you've done. It's remarkable." I smiled faintly. It's what happens when you stop letting people decide your worth for you. My father lowered his eyes. "We were wrong, Clara." "I know," I said gently. "But thank you for finally saying it. For years, they'd taken my silence as surrender. Now, my calm made them listen. Because power spoken softly is louder than any apology shouted too late. A month later, I returned to the registry office, the same place where everything had begun. Only this time, I wasn't the naive daughter pretending not to hear my family's schemes. I was Clara Reeves, CEO, majority shareholder, and the sole legal owner of everything they once controlled. Michael stood beside me, calm and proud as the clerk handed me a final set of documents. "These will finalize the asset transfers," she explained. "After today, no one can make any claim on your estate." I signed my name slowly, the pen gliding with the ease of closure. Outside, my parents waited, not with arrogance this time, but uncertainty. My father spoke first. "We lost ourselves somewhere chasing money and pride. I just hope you don't lose your kindness." I met his gaze evenly. Kindness doesn't mean letting people break you. It means forgiving without reopening the door. My mother's eyes glistened. "You've become someone we can't even recognize." I smiled softly.
No, Mom.
"I've become exactly who I was supposed to be. You just never looked close enough." When I walked away from them, the air felt lighter. For the first time in years, there was no guilt, no fear, just peace. Michael slipped his hand into mine. "You okay?" "I'm more than okay," I whispered. "I'm free." As we drove down the coastal road toward the setting sun, I thought about my grandfather, the only one who'd ever believed in me. And I finally understood why he'd trusted me with everything. Because the real inheritance wasn't money. It was self-worth.